And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. So you have the idea, the censer's in his hand, he puts the incense in, and it creates a lot of smoke. Now, just so you do know that on the Day of Atonement, the children of Israel, they were also supposed to do something. They were required to stand outside their tents around the sanctuary on the Day of Atonement. So the idea is all year long, they knew to bring their sins and record it here, waiting for the Day of Atonement when it was going to be blotted out. We have looked at this night after night, and we have seen that the process of bringing our sins in, recording it here, was for a purpose, for it to be blotted out. The purpose of the sanctuary was that God was going to dwell with his people. We found that out. But also the design for the service in the sanctuary was to make sure that we're right on the Day of Atonement. So the children of Israel, they would now be standing on the outsides, and you'll see in a few minutes what they were doing on the outside. But they were praying. That's when the priest moved inside of here and went inside to the most holy place. Now, he would have the censer and in his hands, and he has the incense, and now he puts it in here, and it's creating a lot of smoke, and it's filling the room because there's a lot of praying going on because the whole camp was on the outside. They were raised up knowing exactly what took place on the Day of Atonement. It happened every year. They knew they had to be right with God on that day, because that day it was over. After the censer was placed down in the most holy place, then it was over. You couldn't be forgiven for any sins anymore. So that's why they took it serious, and there was a lot of praying going on. And it said, he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward. Now, as I'm looking at, that's the east over there. So I would normally place him here, sprinkling the blood upon the mercy seat, right? But that's to the west. So reality is, Aaron would not be standing right here in front of God. Aaron would move around and come here to this side behind God and sprinkle the blood upon the mercy seat, okay? You will notice that it says, and he said, thou shalt not see my face. Now this was Moses. Moses wanted to see God. And you'll find out that's exactly what God says. You can't see my face, okay? But there's a place in a rock that I'm going to put you, okay? And then I'm going to come and I'm going to put you in the cleft of the rock. And when I pass by, I'm going to cover your face. And when I pass by, I will remove my hand, and you can see the backside of me. You find that in Exodus chapter 33, verses 22 and 23. God didn't let Moses see him face to face. God's the same yesterday, and forever. He's the same. And so therefore, he says, nobody can see my face and live. So God covers the face of Moses. The smoke is covering the room in here for Aaron. And Aaron's on the backside, just like that's all Moses got to see was the backside of God. But you know, our high priest, you see, I think that's why we find the high priest in this setting. He's not really the high priest. He's not really doing the service. He was only acting out the service. But I can imagine our high